So today we'll be doing with pandas. Okay, the most important library to understand about the data and to handle the data set. Okay, this is the most important library to handle the data and to analyze the data set. Okay, so how to work on pandas? What are the different types of data structures present in pandas? We will not be studying in today's sessions. Okay, so in the previous class I did with NumPy. We got to know NumPy is used to do array manipulations. Okay, we can revise at the end of the session what NumPy was and what are the different functions present in NumPy. I hope you people have practiced it. Okay, and you don't have any doubts. Okay, as I told you, if you have any doubts, you must ping me through WhatsApp group so that we can have a discussion on it. Assuming that you don't have doubts with respect to NumPy, we are starting with pandas. At the end of the session, we'll revise both NumPy, what we did in previous session, and what pandas we did today. Okay, to start with, okay, pandas is a library. We name it as PANDAS, pandas. Okay, PANDAS, pandas. Okay, let us import the library. Since we are using the Anaconda framework, all these library are present automatically. By default, all these libraries are present. If you are not using Anaconda framework and if you were using some other IDEs to do this programming, then you would have installed pandas exclusively. Then you need to start working. Just because you're using Anaconda framework and Jupyter Notebook, the library is already present because this library is usually used to support with machine learning kind of operations and for the machine learning projects. That's the reason pandas is already present with you. Then we are importing it and we are working on it. So to import it, I'll import as import pandas. Then I give it as an alias. Alias is that is be as PD. Okay, just import pandas and say import pandas as PD. Now what I do is after importing pandas, in pandas actually there are three different data structures what we need to understand. The three different data structures present in pandas are series, okay, data frame, and the last one is panel. Series, data frame, and panel. What is series? What is data frame? What is panel? Okay, when we are handling with the one-dimensional data, then we go with series. The data is one dimension, then it is series. When we handle the data with respect to 2 dimension, we go to a data frame. When we handle the data with 3 dimension, we go to panel. Usually in our machine learning, we are not so much concerned, especially for this course perspective, we are not worried with respect to panel, because we are not handling the 3D data. Okay, we handle the data with respect to 2D. So our concern would be learning with series and data frame. The series data, it is one-dimensional data. Data frame says it is 2-dimensional data. Okay, so we learn how to create series and how to create a data frame and how to work what all the operations present inside the series and the data frame. Okay, hope you people have handled, like we already know how to work with the list, dictionary, and all those basic data structures present in Python. In previous class we studied with NumPy also. We got to know how to create a NumPy array. This other data structure which is called as series and data frame, which is a part of pandas library. Okay, now how to create a series? For example, just create a list. I'll say L1 is equal to 1, 2, 3. This is a list. It's a one-dimensional. I'll just create this list and I'll run it. I'll say L1. Now to do something like this, 1, 2, 3. Now I'll create a series. I'll name it as S1. S1 is equal to PD dot. Then I say series. PD dot series. Open the bracket. Inside the list, I say 1, 2, 3. The same list. Okay, I'll just run it. Okay, then I say S1. Okay, what do you think is difference? What's the difference? What's the difference we are seeing with respect to the list and the series?
We have got indexing.
Very good. The observation which we have to make is the index. So we have index with respect to 0, 1, 2, like we don't have the index with respect to the list 1, 2, 3. That's the first observation what we have to make. Okay. Since we have indexing, the slicing of data, that is extracting the data, becomes very easy for us. Slicing and dicing, that is extracting the data and dwelling into the data, becomes easy when you are working with the data with respect to pandas framework, which will be difficult when you are working with Python. Now we have S1 is equal to 1, 2, 3. Okay, people can just mute the audio so that whenever I ask the question, you can answer. Okay, everyone can mute the audio. Okay, so I say S1 of 1. I say S1 of 1. When I say S1 of 1, it says 2. So when I say S1 of 0, when I say S1 of 0, as you people know, it is just 1. Mean to say that the indexing in Python will start from 0, the same as well in all the other data structures also. This is all about the series. Okay, now I want to understand what else is present in this series. To understand what is present in the series, we have a function called as help. What I do is help of I say pd dot, then I say series, help of pd dot series. When I execute this, it gives a complete description about the series data. It says series as so and so, and so. It is a one-dimensional data, like what all we can use, what are the parameters we can use, so many things is there with respect to series. Okay, so series is the one-dimensional data which is usually used to handle the one-dimensional data is having only one row, or we can say only one column. In that case, we are handling with respect to the series. Okay, we are not using much of series in our real world use cases. Why is it so? Why are we doing it? Why are we actually doing it?
Because
Why
we'll
we
be
actually
dealing with
using
2D data.
Yes, we deal with the 2D data. Can you give an example? Can you give an example of 2D data? How can you say we are handling with the 2D data or most of the cases? Why is it so? Where is the data
So we'll
present
be
in the
having
industry? Yes, yes, go ahead.
in Excel, in CSV files.
Fantastic, very good. So it says that in Excel or CSV file, the data would be stored. When I say data would be stored in the format of Excel or CSV, don't you think the row data would be in the forms of rows and the columns? So when I say data is
Yeah.
stored in the forms of rows and columns, don't you think it's a two-dimensional? So when it's a two-dimensional data, what we must do? We must not take for the series, we must take it for the data frame.
Data frame.
Okay, so when you are working for the two-dimensional data, we are not look for the series, we look for the data frame. So our major concern is to learn data frame a lot and not to worry much about the series or about the panels. Okay, so data frame means to say which is used to handle with the two-dimensional data, is having both the rows and the columns. If you know, when I say with respect to structured data, which is SQL also having the rows and the columns. Yes, it is structured data. There also we use data frame. When I take the CSV file, it's having the rows and the column, then we use data frame. When I take XML, it is rows and the columns, we take data frame. JSON data, yes. Notepad, yes. Take any data which would be in the terms of the rows and columns. So we usually are concerned to learn about the data frame. Let us manually see first how to create a data frame on our own. And the second thing, in the second part, what we can do is we can actually try to read the CSV file which is there in the library, and we can read that file and start working on that particular data set. The first concern is to work on the data frame by creating on our own. The second step is to create the data frame, that is reading the CSV file, and how the CSV file will be converted to data frame. These are the two concerns what we need to learn. Okay, let us manually try to create a data frame. If I manually want to create a data frame is having something called as row name and the column name. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, can I say it as a key value pair, row name and the value? It is key. Key is the row name and the value is the actual value present in the row. Column name is the actual key and the value is the actual value present inside the column. In the Python data structure, key value pair is represented by which data structure?
Dictionary.
Fantastic. It says this is dictionary. So now we need to manually create a data frame using the dictionary data structure. How to do so? Let us create a data frame called df. df is a data frame name. I say pd dot data, and be careful, Python is case sensitive. Okay, have to very careful with respect to the case. So pd dot data frame, open the brackets because data frame is a function. Now I create a dictionary. You people, I hope you people remember to create a dictionary. Dictionary is a key value pair. Here we'll create a, just a moment. Okay, great, fine, thank you. So here what we do is we create a key by name. Okay, I'll create something called as name. Okay, and I say name has to be created with two names. Something by say okay Ram. Okay, then I say one more name by name Sham. Okay, there are two different names. Okay, then I want to keep the age. Okay, then put a comma here and create one more variable by name age. Open the colon here and create age as 23, 24. Okay, just run this. I'll just run this. Okay, this is how to create a data frame. Data frame is the function. Open the bracket, open the flower bracket here and say name, which is Ram and Sham. Put a comma and say age. Okay, it's not 22, sorry, it's 23 and 24. Actually, okay, two ages here. Okay, now if I just enter this df, I can see the data frame got created in the form of column, in the form of table. Is it clear for everyone? We have created a data frame in terms of table. This is how the SQL table will be. This is how the CSV file will be. Just like this, all the data frame, whenever I inherit, whenever I import a CSV file, it will be converted to data frame like this. We will see that how to do. But did you manually got it? How to create the data frame, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any concerns and questions, Sangavi?
Sir, is it possible to give any index namings? Because by default it is giving us 0 and 1, right? Is there any provision to change the index name?
Yes. On the further, I think if like, can we give the index name for the values like 0 versus 0, 1? Can we name the index? Yes. Okay, we can give the index name. We can, if you want a further, we can do a lot of operations. We can just go to help. Okay, we can just go to, we'll be doing it how to set the index, how to set the different index column. We'll be seeing it. Okay, if you want, you can just go like, we have some function called a set index. We have a function called a set index, where that manually we'll be setting the index. Here the index are 0 and 1, right? Okay,
Yeah.
we can set our own index. Okay, we can set our own index. Let us say that I want 23 and 24 to be my index column. Let us not be 0 and 1. We can do it. I want the number to be like, let us not be 0 and 1. It can be 1, 2. We can do it. Okay, we are set index function. Using set index function, we can manually change the index column also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. We'll be doing it. When we see the CSV file. I'll be teaching you how to change the index also. Fine. So this is about the creating the data frame. Okay. So now when we create a data frame, the things look like very easy here because it is in the form of proper structure. Now let us go to the first step of data slicing. A very simple step of data slicing, where I say that I require first row. I say something like df of. Okay, df of 0. We'll see whether we get my output. I say df of 0. When I say df of 0, it's getting an error. Okay, I can't directly say when I say df of 0, am I be able to get the value of 0th column? No. Df of 0. I'll try df of 0 is 2. Then you are getting 0th row and the first row. Why am I not getting 0 is 2? When I put only 0, why it is not getting? So the slicing operation, that is extracting the data with respect to data frame, is different. Okay, it's not like directly you can give some value and you'll get an output. No, we need to understand this. What I told you, the concept of slicing and dicing, which we'll be solving using LOC and ILOC, which will be taking in today's session. Okay, we use LOC and ILOC to extract the data present inside the data frame. Now I just put 0 is 2 so that you are getting 0 and the first column. What do you mean by 0 is 2? When I say 0 is 2, I require 0th column and I also require the first column. You require only 0th column, then start from 0 and give is to 1. So I think what we'll get, the output will get only 0th row. Why is it so? I mean to say, start from 0, end at 1. Don't take 1. When I say 0 is to 1, so it be 0 is 2, it means to say start from 0th row, give all the rows. So you'll get 0th row in the first row also. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now comes the question that, okay, I require only the first row. Can I do something like this? No. When I say df of 1, okay, I tried like this. I tried df of 1. I just tried df of 1. No. So how to get only one row? How to get only one row? Hold on to this. We will see this when we start doing with LOC and ILOC. The question here, the question mark, what we have now is, okay, how to extract one particular row in data frame, correct? How to extract one particular row in data frame, that we will be seeing it when we start with LOC and ILOC, which is the next topic. As of now, the question is, yes, we can't extract the single row. We got stuck extracting the single row. Keep it, hold it. Okay, we'll come to that. But now how to extract the single column? Assume that I require only the name column. If you need only the name column, then you can try like this. df of, you need name, right?
Name.
I can do like name. Yes, this makes sense. This makes sense. When I say df of name, this makes sense. Okay, now I say I require only age. Okay, very simple. You can do df of age.
Age.
Okay, I require both name and age. We'll see to it. I require both name and age. See, I got it. Are you with me, everyone? Yes. Why are you putting double bracket here? As I told you, when you are combining multiple elements, we are using double brackets. I'm combining multiple elements here. I'm combining both the name and the age. I have multiple elements here. So only I'm getting a, like I'm not able to, I mean, I'll be able to get the values because it is multiple values, right?
So screen
Okay.
sharing
Okay, I'll do it. I mean, if in case if disconnects, don't worry, I'll be connecting it automatically. Might be to network issue. Okay, now can you able to see the screen?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So now we got to know why did we give double brackets here? Why did we give double brackets? Just because we have both name and the age. Okay, when you're combining multiple elements, you have to use the list. That is what we did. Okay. Now I say that I require only 23. Is there any option to get only 23? I see this 23 is zeroth row and the first column. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so zeroth row first column. So I say df of zeroth row. Okay, whatever comes after comma is for column, whatever comes before comma is for rows. Or zeroth row.
Rows.
Then which column do you want? You require first column,
First
right?
column.
Okay, then I say df of 0, 1. Oh, I'm getting an error again. Correct? Okay, do one thing, because you're combining both rows and columns, put inside the double brackets. I'll see to that also. No. So now we are getting multiple questions here. The first thing what was not clear is how to extract the row, correct? Second thing is how to extract the specific value, correct? You with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are not able to get the particular value what we are looking for. We are not able to get the particular row what we are looking for. Is there any solution to do this? Yes, we'll come to LOC.
We can go for iLock.
Yes, we go to ILOC and LOC. At that time, we'll be seeing it how to solve. But keep hold on till then. Okay. If you get confused with multiple options, it becomes very confusing. So that when you're extracting, becomes a problem. So just remember, we have LOC and ILOC, which we'll be doing it. It is very important. Okay, we'll come to that point. Fine. So as of now, we are clear that we were able to create a data frame. This has to be very clear till now. Everyone are clear to create a data frame now? Correct? We are able to create a data frame. Yes, we create a data frame by name
Yes, sir.
and the age. So now it is creating a data frame. Now comes the next question: that is there any way to get the value from the CSV file? Okay, I have uploaded a CSV file which is already there in the Google Classroom what I have created. Okay, in the Google Classroom actually I took it from the GitHub. Okay, so I need to give the credit to GitHub because I got this data file to me. Okay, so in the GitHub I had a file by name marketfact.csv. Okay, I have a file by name marketfact.csv. I hope you people know how to upload the CSV files, everyone. Okay, in terms of uploading it to the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, in Jupyter Notebook, what you can do is you can just go here, and when you get an option here, you have an option by name upload. Okay, you have an option by name upload here. If you upload here, if you try to upload the CSV file here, for example, whatever the file I have, I just try to upload the CSV file and press open. Automatically, the file will be uploaded. Okay, the file will be uploaded. Whatever the uploaded file I have, I'll be reading it here. Okay, whatever the uploaded file I have, I'll be reading it here. If not, if you are not able to upload it here, then you can give the actual location also. Okay, if you're not able to upload, you can actually give the location also. That is the first thing. Okay, like just like that, in my case, I have marketfact.csv. I'm reading it. If you're not able to upload the file, then you can give the actual path of your hard disk directory. For example, if you are stored in G drive, I say G drive, then Python, then data science, then data, then marketfact.csv. You can give the actual path. If you like, we usually don't prefer giving the actual path because so that we upload it to the Jupyter Notebook. Once when you upload, we automatically the file will be uploaded into your environment. Then we start doing. If I for example, in my case, I've created something like pandas here. If you can see at the top here, okay, I've uploaded a file just like that. I've uploaded a file by name marketfact.csv. Okay, uploaded a file by name marketfact.csv. This is a file named marketfact.csv. Can you see here, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a CSV file what I have downloaded. It's already there in the classroom. I want everyone to go to the Google Classroom where you people have been added. Okay, and you can download that file and upload it here. Okay, just upload it. After uploading the file, I try to read this marketfact.csv file. Okay, how to read this marketfact.csv is what we will be seeing now. What I do is I create data frame called as bf1. I say bf1 is equal to pd.read underscore csv. Then I say open the bracket. I say market fact.csv. Okay, are you with me? I'm doing
Yes, sir.
read underscore CSV, market fact dot CSV, then I run this. Okay, automatically whatever the market fact .csv data will have, that would be replaced with df1. If you have a doubt what will be the data structure, as I told you, CSV file is a two-dimensional data. For the two-dimensional data, it would be data frame. So whenever I get the CSV file, this will also be data frame. Yes, if you want, you can check. What is the function to check the data structure behind the variable? Type of, right? See, it says type of df1, it says panda.co.frame.data frame. So whatever you have with df1 is nothing but a data frame. Now you want to see the data, what is there inside is, just do df1 and press enter. See, this is what you get. You have order ID, product ID, shipment ID, customer ID, sales, discount, quantity, profit, shipping cost, and product margin. So these are the files actually what you have. Everyone are with me? Okay. So this is a file.
Yes, sir.
Now what we do is, okay, I'll try to teach you different functions which is very important with respect to pandas. Okay, with respect to pandas in the data frame. First thing is, I already have a data frame with me. There's a first function called as head function, df1 dot head function. Head is a function which is usually used to get the first 5 rows of your data. Head is a function to get the first 5 rows of your data. When I say df dot head, when I say df dot head, and when I run, you get only the first 5 rows of your data. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct? Yes. Okay. If you ask, no, I don't require the first 5 rows, I require first 10 rows. In the df dot head, rather than just passing df dot head, give the argument as 10.
10.
You get the first 10 rows. You require the first 3 rows, just give 3. So the head commands will give the first 3 rows of the first. By default, when I say head without any argument, it will give me the first 5 rows. Okay. Now I require the last 5 rows. What to do? Do df dot
Tail.
tail. When I say df dot tail, you get the last 5 rows. In this case, df means the whole one. I say df1 dot tail, so you'll get the last 5 rows. By getting the last 5 rows. Now I need to get the last 10 rows, then you can do df dot tail of 10, which is the last 10 rows. Okay, last 3 rows, df dot tail of 3, you get the last 3 rows. So we saw 2 different functions, which is called as a head and the tail function. Head gives the first rows, tail gives the last rows. Okay, now I want to know what are the different columns present in this data. I told you we are seeing with respect to data now. We are trying to analyze what are the different functions present in data frame, what are different functions present in pandas to go with the data analytics. Okay, now I need to understand what is the different columns present in the data. We have a function called as df1.columns. As I said you, I want you people to maintain a cheat sheet so that make a side heading as pandas. Under that maintain series and data frame. In the data frame, we are seeing different functions called head function, tail function. Now we are seeing the columns function. I said df1 dot columns. I say df1 dot columns. What it says? It says order ID, product ID, shipment ID, customer ID, sales, discount. These are the columns what you have in your data frame by name df1. Okay, now I want to know what is the how many number of rows and how many number of columns you have in this particular data. How to do that?
df1 dot shape.
We will see. It says df1 dot shape. It says there are 8,399 rows and 10 columns. It is very less for us actually. For data science operations, this all is nothing. For if you want to build a machine learning application, okay, 8,000, 9,000 rows are nothing. We have like more than 50,000 rows at minimum. Okay, but it says is for analytics perspective is more than enough. You want to do analytics more than enough. It's like 8,400 data is there and 8,400 rows and 10 columns is there with my data. This is what it says. Are you with me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Great. So given the particular case here, now we need to understand, if in the given data set, I need to know, well, basically when we come to data science, the way how we see data is different. It is different than many other cases. Now what we do with respect to data science is, we take the data into 2 types. This categorical data and continuous data. We take it as categorical data and continuous data. This is the way how we see the data. Till now, you were seeing the data as numbers, string, data structure. I mean, those are the different concepts: string, int, float, double. Okay, but from now on, whenever you see data from today, whenever you see data, you must see data as only 2 terms: either categorical data are continuous data. What do you mean by categorical data? What do you mean by continuous data? Given the particular data set, if the values are of a string type, then we go to categorical data. If the given data, if the values are of number type, then we call it as a continuous data. Okay, if the data is categorical, what do you mean by string type? If I say something like name of the person, Ram, Ramesh, Sham, okay, Zakir, so many names are the categorical data because those are the string related data. But if I say something like age of that person, the age of the person is not a string related data, so we can take it as a continuous data. So we must be understanding by seeing the data, which data will be categorical and which data will be continuous. Any data which is of something of categories, then we say categorical. Or to be simple, something like a string are called categorical. Something with respect to measurements, something which can do mathematical operations, those data are called as continuous data. So in the given data set, can you people just before seeing anything tell which is categorical, which would be continuous? In this data, which would be categorical, which would be continuous, if you can try doing it?
Sir, order ID, product ID, shipment ID, customer ID are all categorical. All the other columns have numerical values, so they'll be continuous.
Good. Okay, so it says that the order ID, product ID, shipment ID, customer ID, whatever we have are the categorical data, and the sales, discount, order quantity, profit, shipping cost, and the product based margin are the continuous data. Yes, how? Because this data is having the string data kind of information. So if you can see, we have ORD 5388, mean to say it's a particular category. So these are a categorical data. But how about the sales, discount, order quantity, and profit? These are continuous data. Okay, we have to be very clear to understand which is categorical, which is continuous. Okay, I'm confused. I don't know how to do. Is the machine is helping me to understand which is categorical, which is continuous? Yes, we have a function called as info. Okay, we have a function called as info. When I say df1.info as a function, it tells me which is categorical and which is continuous in your data set. In the data set, when I execute the info function, if the output what you get is of object type, the output what you take is of object type, those data are categorical data. If the output is like float or int, then we call it as continuous data. If I execute the info function, if the output what you get is of object type, then we call it as categorical data. The output what I get is of either float or int, then we call it as continuous data. So this is how we will understand which data is categorical and which data is continuous. Why is it so, Vinay? Is it really required to understand categorical and continuous? Yes. On the further analysis, when you're doing the data analytics or the machine learning model, you need to understand categorical data, continuous data, because depending upon your dependent and independent variable, that is what you're trying to predict and which you're using to help for your prediction, or those things are important. So if you're predicting something with respect to continuous values, then we need to understand the continuous value prediction. We must use regression. When you're predicting the yes or no case, then the data has to be categorical. So we have to be very careful to understand which is categorical and which is continuous. To get the information about that, we have an info command. Info command will tell us which data is categorical and which data is continuous. Are you with me? Any doubts and concerns still now?
Yes. No, sir.
Okay, so we saw the different function, which is info function. We are in an info function as of now. Okay, next thing what we do is, okay, assume that you have like numerical value. Is there any advantage having the numerical value? Yes, we have one more function called as describe function. We have something like df1.describe. Okay, when I use describe function and just execute, we can see it is giving lot of statistical information about your continuous values. What is the statistics? You people need to wait for a long time, because we'll be having a complete statistics session later. At that time, we'll be telling you all these things. But as of now, since everyone know about basics of statistics, I can tell you, it will tell you what is the mean sales happening. It is 1,775. What is the minimum sales happening? It is 2.24. What is the maximum sales happening? It is 89,061. Okay, and what's the minimum discount? What is the maximum discount? All this kind of mathematical statistical information will be given by the describe function. Now, do you think for your categorical data, would you get statistics?
No.
How can I define a statistics for the name of the person? How can I give a statistics for the product IDs? So for the categorical data, you don't get any kind of statistical information. The statistical information will be only for the continuous values. The function to do that is describe. So now we got the values. Now we got the values, and we are able to analyze what is the how many number of rows are present in the data, number of rows, number of columns, categorical data and the continuous data. Then to understand describe function, what describe function will do. Then we know info function, what info function will do. Okay, then we created a data frame, how to create a data frame. Okay, we got to know about the function. Okay, we got stuck in extracting the particular row, particular column, the particular data, which we told that we'll be discussing now. Okay, but as of now, we were able to read the CSV file, put it in a data frame, and we were able to read the data frame. This is what we done till now. Is there any doubts still here before me starting the next session? Any doubts? If I can individually point out, if I can ask Raj, any doubts?
No, sir.
ಸರ್ ಇವಾಗ CSV ಫೈಲ್ ಇಂದ ರೀಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸಸ್ ಏನಾರು ಆಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್? ಏನಾರು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಂಗ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾ, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಏನ್ CSV ಫೈಲ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವೋ ಅದೇ ರೀಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ?
The same CSV file will be read as it is. The only thing what you get added when you read a CSV file is the index column. Okay, the index is what you get here, right? The index value, index column will be added automatically. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. What is A396, A397? What we have here, right? Okay, this would be added automatically. Apart from that, everything whatever is there in CSV, the same would be copied here. No need to do anything else.
Okay,
I didn't do anything here. I just did the CSV file. Did I do any change? No. Okay, but you have an option. You have an option. For example, if you say I don't require the header file, I don't require this headers. Okay, I don't require the headers. So you can say header is equal to none. Okay, while reading the CSV file, if you do help of pd.read_csv, you get multiple options. Okay, I just do for you. I just say help of pd.read_csv. Then you get an option so that what all options you can remove. Okay, either you can remove head option, either you can remove the headers, and you can integrate that header to the actual data. Okay, then we can change the data type of the particular column. The data type of the particular column was integer, you can change it to string. Okay, all those things we can do. Okay, but in my case I didn't require anything. I just wanted to read the data frame, so I read it. Okay, but is there anything get added when I read the CSV file implicitly?
Okay,
yes, only the index column will get added implicitly. That's it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Okay. So Sagar, no doubts then. Kiran?
Fine, sir. Fine.
Subramanya?
Yes, sir. No.
Sangavi? Sangavi, any concerns? Okay. If you can just ping me if you're having a mic problem, that's okay. Fine. So what we do now is I'll be hosting a second session. The second session we try to work with the LOC, ILOC, set index and all those functions. Okay. See to your WhatsApp group. I'll be sending a new ID. Please reconnect back to the new ID. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Have any questions? Make a note of it. We'll be connecting in 3 to 4 minutes back, and we'll be starting the second session. Fine. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.